Hello, my name is Andrew, and for my senior project at North Providence High School, I am doing a documentary on the Great Attractor, followed by my personal take on the matter. Now, let's get started. First, I'd like to ask three pertinent questions, which have great value in this video. Firstly, what is the Great Attractor? My second question, I have why can't we find out what the Great Attractor is specifically? And thirdly, why does the Great Attractor matter, and how does this affect life on Earth? This is the Milky Way, which is a galaxy that contains a solar system with Earth and the Sun in it. At the center of the Milky Way, as well as a very large percentage of galaxies, is a black hole. If a galaxy doesn't have a black hole in the center of it, it has an object so massive that it causes objects around it to pool and create the visual you see on screen. This is an animation of a black hole, and this is another animation of a black hole. Like I just mentioned, there's a black hole in the center of the Milky Way named Sagittarius A. Sagittarius A is roughly 43 million times the mass of our sun. So, how big is the Great Attractor compared to us? Well, while we don't know the exact mass and we can't predict the exact mass of the Great Attractor, we can predict the rough estimate of the diameter. And the diameter of the Great Attractor is 10 times that of Sagittarius A. And this is an artificial picture of a black hole, which was taken from this picture, which just seems like a blurb of light. But scientists and artists worked together and they redefined the black hole in higher definition to allow them a better understanding of what large objects in our universe look like. And before you start saying I'm getting off topic, talking about universes and black holes, this is what the observable universe looks like. And within the observable universe, we have the gravitational pull, like wavelengths. And the darker the color, the stronger, so we can see the Milky Way and all the objects around it being pulled in by the Great Attractor. Now that we are familiarized with what a black hole looks like, the animation of it, and what the Great Attractor is, we need to talk about what exactly the Great Attractor could be. And it's really a toss-up between a very dense supercluster, which I'll explain in a minute, and a black hole, which is also very super dense and massive. Alright, so a supercluster is a cluster of galaxies which are very, very compact and close together. There are multiple, probably millions, maybe even billions in the observable universe, and even farther than that. But there are names for them, and Laniakea is one of the superclusters that our solar system in the Milky Way was a part of. And another supercluster that Earth and the solar system and the Milky Way was/is a part of is the Virgo supercluster. So why can the Great Attractor be a supercluster? Well, that's pretty simple because of how close the galaxies are compact. They create a gravitational pull which is as strong as, and sometimes even stronger than, a black hole. While it isn't a topic that I want to dive into specifically, scientists and experts speculate that the Great Attractor isn't an object but a location of the center of the observable universe. Now, while there isn't an exact way to figure out what the Great Attractor is, it's worth noting, but in this project I've explained how I think that the Great Attractor is either a supercluster or a black hole. And pretty sure you can tell I'm leaning towards the fact of a black hole, mostly because of the simplicity and all of the maps. Okay, so I think it's a black hole, but why can't scientists and experts figure out for sure that it is either a black hole, location, or a supercluster? Well, that is just because of our location in the universe and our galaxy. the light from the Milky Way is just too bright for any technology that we have to be able to see past and through it to the Great Attractor. In hundreds of thousands of years, our location would have changed and we'll have a higher chance of seeing it. But that is just not possible because of the number of supernova, hypernova, just exploding stars, remnants, other galaxies, everything. There's just too much to be able to see. So before I wrap up this video, I don't want to leave you guys looking at a black screen, so I'm gonna put all the pictures that I took on October 19th, 24 of the moon, because the moon was very bright that night and it was very nice, and I observed it with my telescope. So before you disregard my opinion, just consider that, I've been researching this topic for 6 months. Okay, so why does this matter, and how does this affect life on Earth? Well, there isn't a direct effect that the supercluster has on Earth, but there are a couple interesting and fun facts that it changes of our cosmic address. For example, the supercluster pulls the Milky Way at about 600 kilometers a second. So that's cool. It's pretty useless though. But the supercluster doesn't have any direct effect on Earth yet. If, assuming humans are able to evolve and stay alive in 100,000, maybe 200,000 years, when we have relocated in the Milky Way and the observable universe, maybe we'll be closer to the supercluster. Maybe it'll cause a calamity. Maybe it'll tear apart the Milky Way. There's no real way to know for sure, just because of our inability to observe it. And a great question that may be asked after watching this video is, why go so far to observe something that is so hypothetical? And that is just proven by the fact that we can. The fact that we are able to predict and hypothesize so much off of something that we know so little about is crazy. It's amazing. It's one of the traits that humans have that we've evolved from, and it really shows how intelligent we are. And without getting too far off script, speaking of intelligence and evolution, assuming that there are other life forms in the universe, it brings up the question whether or not they could or couldn't have a correlation to the Great Attractor, which I don't exactly believe in, but it's worth considering because there's no real way for us to know, because we can only observe as far as the observable universe, and past the universe is infinitely larger and a void that we can't explore. Alright, now that I just asked a debatable question, I'm going to finish my video here. I'm Andrew Gavin from North Providence High School. This is for my senior project of What is the Great Attractor? Thank you for watching.